more like a hawk, or more like a
We
pigeon. We look. Well, we about to get into it. We about to get into it.
let's do it, baby. Let's do
Welcome
it.
for flying through this nest that we have on the Just Bank channel. Docs with Fat Cat. Is it a doc club like a book club? Yeah, sorta. We're hardcore niggas. We do documentaries here once a week. We check them out because we do things, we say stuff. Part of what we do is say stuff about what we see. This week, I picked it. It was entitled Pigeon Kings. Yeah,
Talk about it.
Pigeon Kings. All right. So this
What made you
actually,
come? What made you come up with this?
like I said, let me clear the peanut butter out my tooth. Let me get right.
Uh
So
oh.
this came as per suggestion as I was in discussing the docs with Fat Cat with someone, and they were like, shout out to them, actually, my ladies, peoples, Jesse and her man Pedro, shout out to them.
Jesse Petro, shut
You know what
up.
I mean? So they were like, yo, you do documentaries. I seen this dope one. You should check it out on your joint. Y'all probably find it dope. It's called Pigeon Kings. I'm like, Pigeon Kings. Okay, what we talking about right now? Pigeons Kings? Boom. So I go ahead and do my little, she kind of explained it. Like, nah, people really compete with pigeons. Like they compete with them and flying them. I'm like, I'm already
Yeah, yeah,
now, my ears are already percolating. I'm like, what? People do what? They compete with pigeons. That's all. Competition and pigeons together make my brain bubble a little bit to the point where it's like, I need to know more.
you need to see
So,
that.
yeah, I need to know what's going on. I've never heard such a thing. Some people know about it. I take it. A lot of people do, but I'm not one of them. And so I looked at the trailer on it. I read the script. And this is actually here in the States in South Central, uh, Lo-
Compton.
South Central Los Angeles. Um, these guys
Oh,
have
South
a
Central, South Central, South
South
Central.
Central. Yeah,
Two
they
different,
have
two different.
a community, and it's a competition that people fly pigeons in a certain way. They get points deducted for certain things. Now these guys are straight in the hood, man. This kind of felt
Good
the
news.
wave of the when we watched with them with the Cowboys. Once again we're back in
Right,
the West
right,
Coast in the hood,
right. In South Central,
right, in
that's
the
that.
West Side, right, where people are doing things which the common person that just observes these things and are in those neighborhoods wouldn't assume would be there. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean they fly pigeons and compete with them? You know,
Shout out to all the motherfucking hood niggas in South Central finding positive and constructive things to do with their time.
right? You know what I'm saying? They're doing great things with pigeons, man. Uh, Now I know we see pigeons all the time. They're
Yeah,
kind
we
of
do.
considered they're kind of unfortunately what they're considered like the rat of the bird family. And I say that in a sense that like not because they're like rat-like features. Uh, they're kind of like scavengers, a little bit like rats, but they populate heavy and they can overtake a lot of businesses usually have problems with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
for
yeah.
one, can tell you I've seen a business do some foul ass things to get rid of pigeons. They had a pigeon
Yeah.
problem, and what they did was they broke up shattered glass and put it around the ledge that they would stand on, so they would no longer stand there. You know what I mean? Or they would put poison down for them to eat and fly off and die somewhere, or they just find a bunch of dead ones right there on the spot. You know what I mean?
Right,
So pigeons get a raw
right.
deal. Well, they're actually pretty damn smart birds. They use them in war
Yeah, they are.
times
Yeah, they
to
are.
as homer pigeons to send
Yep.
messages. So there are ways to train them. I kind of remember that. So this was interesting to me to know that there were people in the hood that were like training their birds in a sense to compete against other flyers. And it's something they had called the World Cup, right? Is that what it was? The World Cup, the
Yep.
World Fly
Hmm.
Cup, or something like that.
The World Cup. It's World Cup. World Cup.
It's a World Cup of flying
Of
pigeons, man. And,
pigeons.
and
Yeah.
this is a world that was interesting. So we could jump in there, man, and toss the ball around. You know,
Yeah.
what was going on. I still feel like I need to see more almost on the actual sport. I feel like this
Okay.
it kind of
Okay.
this dove into more of like them going through it, and they gave us a little bit of the point system. You know what I mean? I feel like I had to rewatch it again a couple times. Like I think I watched it 1.5 times. I didn't get to, with something like that. I want to really like say, did I miss out on parts of the scoring points on it? But basically, that one guy explained it when they're going up. They're up there. They do something where I guess they catch Caesars in mid-flight, and they go into like a spiral, and that's how they're flying. You know what I'm saying? They're
rolling basically.
Right, and rolling, and I guess when they're in groups like that, they'll all kind of the key is for them to all do something like that.
At least five of them have to roll together.
Was it at least 5?
Yeah, it has to be 5 of them together at the same time rolling to acquire points. Right.
Certain flies, and they have to stay together. So when one flies away from the flock, they lose points for that too. You know
if it lands, if one of them lands, it's
one of them lands. Yeah, one of them lands. That's the one that's
no good. It's no good. It's not a good sign.
Right. It was very like intricately laid out, man. As far as like it feels like it feels like a rich white man sport that's sprinkled into the hood. You know what I mean? And I feel like I did a little research. Like I saw some old footage on YouTube. Like it was big in Holland. These guys were doing it in Holland, and the footage was from like the 90s somewhere, mid-90s, 95 or 96 or something like that.
Yep.
Well, they were saying with the World Cup that they really were competing against everybody else around the world from their backyard.
In their backyard. You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Going hard in the backyard.
Right. So all they do is they have these I guess they have these professional point people come out. These people from this committee, they come out and they have you fly your birds out.
It's an actual professional thing. Like it's an actual thing, man.
Right. And it's crazy because like you said, the way they compete is you're just getting scored. They're coming to you in your coop and having you fly them out. And you know what I'm saying? How you score is how you win these things. So it's not, you know what I mean? Because just to give people context of, it's not like they're in one big open field somewhere and everybody's bringing their pigeons and they're flying them out.
You don't bring your birds.
Right. You got to give a little context because that would have fooled me too. Like I would have been like, yo, so what do you mean? How do they get them out there and troll them to get to come back? Like, that's how they come back is because they're already in there. They have a certain way they train them to come back. You know what I mean? The signal they use.
It's all about muscle memory with the pigeon. It's all about muscle memory. So basically what they do for the pigeon to know that it's their home, what they do is as they mate them and breed them, they leave them in these coops and in different stages of growing is the different types of coops that they're going to be in. You know what I mean? I know a little insight also on it because you know what I'm saying. I had people like my older uncles and shit like that, and older cousins that had coops and pigeons, and I had seen people actually in New York and Brooklyn.
I'm gonna say it's big in New York. Yeah.
That
was a big thing out there. Yep.
And I used to see how they used to raise their pigeons. You know what I mean? So basically, the key was for them to know, because that was a big thing with me, because I was confused. Like, how the fuck these birds gonna be flying, however long and however far they're gonna fly, and still remember when they're done to land here, in their coops. So with the trainers and what I got, the concept was, when they're young, when they're little chicks and they're young, they keep them in these coops and do not let them go anywhere. They just keep them confined in these coops until they get older. You know what I mean? So then as they're growing, right, when they're in the coop, they'll take them out and leave them on the ledge. You know what I'm saying? In a bigger coop. But now they're out there, little coop, and now they're outside, like steps of freedom. And they're remembering, right? So now they're basically in steps and in phases, on doing those things. So it can be stamped in their brain. All right, this is my home. And then the flag thing is just another signal for them.
That's like a feeding signal, right?
It's different signals. You get a signal to fly. You get a signal to come back, and then the way Chalk, shout out to Big Chalk, the way he did it on the feeding was he was Choo-choo, excuse me, Choo-choo.
I'm like, who Chacha? Who the hell was that?
my bad. Choo-choo. Shout out to Choo-choo, man, because I respect his grind, man, because I respect how what he did. But the way he would do it was he'll shake his cup. And believe it or not, they can hear that. like they can hear that shaking of the cup
from way up up there.
You know what I mean? So they'll hear and they'll come and they'll all go in. You know what I mean? And that was, you know, so it's certain different. It's all on the person and how they treat them, but it's all different ways and mechanics and systems.
Like you said, for the most part, when you're constantly feeding them and you constantly giving them shelter and a place to be, and you're feeding them, they're smart enough and they're not leaving that. They're coming. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
exactly.
I guess that what you said that makes more sense of them keeping them not in so much flight, so they'd almost get that temptation. You know what I mean? It's almost like keeping them used to just being there. So now when they're flying it out, it's almost like guaranteed they're going to always come back. Right. As opposed to the one that's like, you know what? I think there's more out there to see. You know what I mean?
And those birds, man, are very smart creatures, man. I was about to say people. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But I'm sorry.
Pigeons.
But
pigeons are people.
But
as a t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, you know what I mean. They're very smart creatures, man. You know what I mean. And they and by not interacting, but what I've seen and what I've learned on how they're taught, it's like they have this amassed ability of having a great photo memory kind of thing. Like everywhere they see is like a fucking snapshot. You know what I'm saying? Of everything. And how they process that and all of that is amazing.
Well, they said that's where they used them for the war times, man. Where it's like, how did that's something to look into? Like, how did they really get that going? You know what I'm saying? Of sending these Homer pigeons across seas. Do you know what I mean? Like they're sending them like a couple hundred or 1,000 miles away or so. You know what I'm saying? They're sending these things and they're making it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was short distance. See, I never really looked into that. Unless it was like short distance flight of messages.
Well, the doves, I thought they were doves at first, but you could be right. But the Homer pigeons,
the Homer pigeons,
the Homer pigeons are fast. They're like the faster pigeons. They're fast and they can last longer. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they can also last longer in duration of flight too. But I think the dove is in like, because the dove is like a pigeon.
No. What I'm saying that is because of that's hence how they got the name Homer pigeon. They homer them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why they got their name. That is because that's what they use them as. You know what I'm saying? The home them in like GPSs.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So I just was always intrigued to like, how far did they ever send them? That's a whole other documentary.
That's the thing.
But, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
they are known to fly far. Also, they are known for that. They are known for long flight. They are.
Yeah, but these guys found, like I said, it was when I looked into a couple of it, this is like you said, worldwide. This is definitely something that sprinkled into the hood somewhere. I always wondered like who was the guy introduced it into, like, hey man, y'all want fly pigeons? Like what?
Right. Yo, in New York too, you know what I mean? It's kind of like shedding a bad light, but it was just the truth of the situation. You know what I'm saying? But in New York, a lot of these guys, you had your honest, pigeon raisers and things like that, but also you had some of them that were raising pigeons and teaching them to signal them whenever police was around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I've heard about that. Yeah. Like, using them as like call birds, like, oh, the boys are coming.
Remember in Training Day?
Right.
Was that wasn't Training Day? Yeah. And they said they took that from real shit. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's right. That wasn't Training Day.
How birds will be notifying them that police is around and things like that. So like you can, like, if you have the time, you could train a bird, man, or pigeons. You can train pigeons. Birds. You know what I mean? To do, to do different kind of things, to do different kinds of things, man.
Yeah.
Messages.
Yeah, it seems like how you were saying with the photographic memory. It reminds me a lot of fucking Darius. You know what I'm saying? That shit is the Darius pigeon right there. Where boom, they know what's up. And I'll say,
shout out to Darius, man.
Hell yeah.
Darius.
I thought the documentary topic was interesting, and it was something where I'd like to dive into it more. But
yes, sir.
The particular documentary, bro, I promise you, it was 26 minutes in, and I was like, absolutely nothing has happened yet. It was interesting in that part where I was like,
it became more about them than the pigeons.
Yeah. Like I kept waiting for something to happen, and to be dead honest with you, that shit made me depressed as fuck about like choo-choo. because like about Choo Choo and about Keith, because like I'm waiting for something good to happen to either one of them, and nothing good ever happens to them. That shit fucked me up.
And Keith had passion, man. I fucked with Keith, man. He was Keith London, man. Yeah, Keith London.
He was the guy. He was the
He had all trophies. You see, he had all trophies. He competed for a while. He was a winner. He's the one that sells them. He sells them now.
Right, he's the breeder. He's basically a breeder, you know what I'm saying? And I felt bad for him, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
What happened to him later on. But Chew,
with
man.
the Hawks? Yeah.
Chew, Chew, though, man, listen. I felt like in my mind, I was sitting on the other side of him. Keith was on one side explaining him the process, and I felt like I was on the other side re-emphasizing and reiterating the process, because like it felt like this motherfucker wanted this to be an overnight success.
Oh yeah.
When fucking Keith is telling him, dude, you heard the guy when he said it takes 30 years to learn a fucking bloodline, right?
Yeah.
And Chew was like, yeah, but I'm saying though, you know, I'm just, you know what I'm saying, I need to do
that's
this.
That's gonna get high and shit. He was that fat blood.
Yeah.
He was big dreaming.
I respect your ambition, and I respect how you know positive minded you're staying about this and all of that. But dog, it took Keith almost 30 years, and he still ain't perfect everything. And you think you just gonna do this in year number 2?
Yeah.
Come on. But with all that being said, he did do his thing on starting at least to start his families and shit like that.
Yep. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was one of those where and that's why I said when I said that at the beginning, where I said I felt like it left me wanting to know more. Like I wanted to know more about the pigeon, like which I was hoping to get more insight about that, but it really dove into like these guys in the hood and what they were doing.
The
you know what I'm saying?
Sad ass life of these two guys in the hood. I feel you, because that's what I was piggybacking off of when you said that, where I'm like, I wanted to know about the World Cup competition. I wanted to know more about that instead of like, hey, here's a dreary ass look of like Keith can't pay his bills and he's got to go to job fairs and shit like that, where he's like, I don't want to do this. I want to be a professional, you know, pigeon flyer. Where it's like,
right.
Oh man, that shit was depressing.
That was.
Was
I
it?
mean,
Was it?
Choo Choo wasn't Choo Choo a barber? All right.
Yep. He was a barber.
Yeah, Choo was a barber, amongst other things, a podcast guy. You know what I'm saying? So
when it recorded, you know what I'm saying?
When it recorded. But he was trying to do other things, you know.
Yeah.
Well, as far as Keith that was his, like the niggas like
that was
pigeons is it, bro. That's his. Pigeons and buses, like
lost his wife over it and everything.
That Keith line with the dude said, you know, the pigeons gonna be here before you, they're gonna be here after you.
Yep.
Now, is it only me, fellas, or did I like take it that this pigeon thing that they're doing, like World Cups and all this and all that, like that was only for bragging rights, because
that's what it seemed like.
I didn't hear a pot either.
Yeah, they didn't disclose no money rewards on it or anything, but I mean, Keith probably, you know, because with his trophies, so he's got hardware. But in this particular documentary, when they was talking about it, I never heard no cash rewards or no rewards of nothing.
Nigga, what's fucked up is you didn't hear none of that. But what you hear is why you were so fat. You felt so sad for the nigga Choo Choo's, because the nigga had a goddamn loser trophy hanging up there. What the fuck is that?
Right.
I never seen no shit like that in my life. Who the fuck gives a loser?
Right? He took it on the chin. You know what I'm saying? With a smile.
No. What they're gonna do is take that fucking trophy on the chin for trying to give it to me. I don't need to get reminded that a nigga lost.
Yeah, that's foul, right? But I guess he took it as motivation. He's like, I gotta win.
So the pigeon game is brutal to losers, man. I see.
It is.
And it all depends on your. But like you said, you think like, but it's the birds. It's kind of up to them. But that's what keeps like it's deeper than that. You got to really kind of know your birds. Like he was swapping birds out like it was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a starting lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just got this one demoted. He gonna get demoted. This one gonna get into that kid over here.
And that means that one is getting sold, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. You're gonna demote this one down here.
In Pigeon World, when you get demoted, your ass is getting sold.
So you think about that. How many ones is he selling that don't make the cut for his kit? And they probably something might be wrong with him. Like, yeah, that's a good one. You can buy that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they would still be good because they come from a good pedigree, but they might not just, Keith is obviously going to keep the best,
Right,
but
right.
hey, man, this is still better than what you got off your, you kidnapped a pigeon out the park and then you had babies. My shit's still going to be superior, even if this one's, not the best.
Scooping them off the park. You can't fly those.
Exactly. But I'm telling you, man, I'm sure people get them by any means necessary. And what I like what Choo Choo did was, remember when he was hitting Homeboy's kid off with, hey, man, take these 3. Go ahead, start your own little thing. Starting that dude young, So that's probably
because he was interested. Yeah. He was into it, right?
Yeah.
He was like, hey, you into it? Go ahead, man, take these. But how about in the barbershop where Choo Choo's man put him on blast? The nigga heard him out about him being half-assed with shit. He's like, yeah, he told me everything. He's like, no, what it is? He was kind of telling him like,
his man, how the fuck you gonna buy that bird?
Right, $60, man. You think like you ain't listening to what he's telling you.
You ain't listening to Keith, man. Keith is the nigga, man.
Right.
Yep.
You're supposed to be around them cats and absorbing. But it was funny because I laugh at it because he pulled him on blast in front of the nigga shooting a documentary. Like he knows he's shooting a documentary, and that nigga in the chair took at that moment to like, stop bullshit.
Well, that's
his man.
That's his host. Man. And he was also the host of the auction. If you remember, he was the host.
I didn't know that.
On that auction. So it is a close. It is a like its own society. With its own close members. And
but
shit
I just like the fact that like we're shooting a documentary. He's like, nah, I'm gonna air you out real quick. You're not gonna say that. He's like, I'm air you out right on this dock, man. Keep that shit in there. All right, my bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, Choo was it was funny, man. But I just love the passion of Keith, man. Keith's passion was like down to the point where remember he was breaking it down of like, yo, you got to pay attention to their chest. If it's like pink or it's purple, that means there's something about they're flying too long or something, or you got to let them relax for a little bit before they go back up and fly again.
Yeah, if it's purple, you gotta sit them out for a while.
Right. That was just like crazy official to me. Like this nigga's just down, like he was really about that pigeon life, man.
Or how about he was so dedicated that he fucking had a cage and fucking captured a fucking hawk and killed it.
Yeah, that shit was the craziest part. Where I felt bad for all of them because they're like you said, raising these shits in the bloodline, doing everything for years and years and years, and then the shit goes up and you can get it fucking taken out by a hawk in 2 seconds.
Right. And you know what? And he made a valid point when he had said that shit, and he was like, listen, man, he goes, it's just like when you got a dog, right? Your dog is your family. He goes, like, this is my family. He goes, nobody said anything when you protect your dog from getting attacked. You know what I'm saying? Like you protect your dog from getting attacked and you okay with that. It's almost because it's like
it's a pet. It's a pet, man. All pets
like I said,
it's a pet,
pigeons fall. That's what I get back to that point of pigeons falling into that rat family. Like I've seen places where people call for dead pigeons. They'd be like, well, they don't come out for that. Like I've called locally, somebody called them like, yo, there's some dead pigeons over here. And now we don't come out for that. Scoop it, throw it in the trash. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if you said there was a dead hawk or something, they're coming out with a fucking van and
if there was a dead eagle.
Right. It's like, they got a team out like this, like the guy with the bushes and the fucking like they were fucking
watching them.
Those guys were nobodies, man. Those were just fucking nosy, fucking non-fucking.
Well, the wildlife preservers guys. You gotta know there's people out there that are looking out for these hawks and everything, and he not hunting them, he's protecting. So that's different.
But that's another thing too, man. Like hawks, their environment isn't the fucking city, bro.
Yeah.
It was.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get it. They were probably there before they fucking established the city. But once the city was established and shit like that, motherfuckers leave.
Yeah, right? The Hawks came back for the buffet, dog. The Hawks came back for the buffet.
But I believe what dude was saying where, yo, the government is bringing these motherfuckers over here. Because this ain't their natural habitat. And what the fuck are they doing here?
No, somebody said that. True story. Somebody told me that in the state here in Connecticut.
You know what I mean?
What they were doing in parts of in our state, a little further up by the mountains, is they were having them. Somebody said this. I don't know how true it was that they fucking shipped in some fucking mountain lions to help with the deer over deer population.
Yep. Yeah. They do shit like that, but I think what P's saying is more of a in a nefarious nature of like, we're about to fuck up your time by throwing some hawks out here. You know what I'm
some
saying?
sabotage.
Bingo.
Yeah, some sabotage
Bingo.
shit.
Sabotage.
You're 1,000,000% correct.
Yeah,
sir.
but why would they do that though? People don't. I say that because it's like when I say that, it's like back to pigeons being rats because motherfuckers will be caring about them. You actually have people that care about pigeons. You know, it's not a big thing. People fucking like don't look out for pigeons, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that they care about the pigeons. I think it's more that they're just fucking up their time. You know what I mean? Like it's,
right.
Why do cops fuck with people for no fucking reason, man? It happens all the time. And I could see that as well of, oh yeah, man, throw a couple hawks out here and then we're going to fuck up their entire day.
We never know. Maybe
the complaining neighbor that's connected with somebody.
Remember the lady that rode by? Remember the lady that rode by? And I think she was halfway joking, but she was like, man, you got the streets all blocked off for this flight. Y'all should be in church.
Yeah. That person is saying something like that and going in the house and making a call immediately.
And calling
exactly.
I want to make a complaint. They got the pigeons. They're doing all this, and
they got the road blocked
illegal.
off, and they're just flying these birds.
I think it's illegal what they're doing. And all they got to do is tell them that I think they killed a hawk. What?
And on top of that,
wildlife people come out like crazy.
Him killing a bird, a hawk. On top of that, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, so yeah. You know what I was telling because Babe was watching it with me. You know what I'm saying? She's upstairs. Shout out to Babe with how my shit go. You know what I'm saying? And I was saying to maybe they should make a side den, nothing too big, but just a square little place next to their fucking away from the coops, right? And just fill them shits with dead mice. And just have
the
hawk,
dead birds that they got, well, whatever type of dead, unless the hawks don't eat the dead, you know what I mean? But I don't know.
They might got like a live catch. I don't know.
Maybe that is the case because some animals.
I think they usually pick live.
That's a good idea, though. Kind of like an offering of like, listen,
you
got your food over here. Just take this.
To the hawk gods.
Yeah.
Leave my fucking pigeons alone. Here, take these fucking little field mice that nobody really give a shit about.
Right. Yep. You know what's funny, man? My aunt, man, she was telling me that she had because she likes to feed the birds and stuff. She puts little bird feeders out, but she used to feed the She loved the mourning doves. You know, that's your hood owl.
Oh, they're fucking beautiful, man.
They sound just like owls. You know, the mourning doves, they sound like owls. Some people like them around. They're pretty birds. You know, they're just coming a lot though. You know, so she's
that's that noise in the morning.
That's the
That sounds like I'm thinking it's an owl.
It's they're mourning doves.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, yep. Because man, I gotta understand. My lady is very obsessed with owls. Like she loves owls to death, like that. And we had debunked it because she was real excited when we were here one time. She was, we got an owl. You know, then one morning, then I'm like in the morning time, and then we saw one of them little niggas down, and it's like, oh, it's them. And then when we looked up what bird sounds like an owl in Connecticut kind of thing on Google and shit.
In the morning.
It pointed to the mourning doves.
Nice.
Yeah, they're but my aunt, she was feeding them, you know, because she liked them, and they're morning.
You just learned to me, nigga. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we out here. Everybody's sharing everything.
Yeah.
So she was feeding them all, but what she stopped was because one day she witnessed she was noticing she would come out there and she'd find like loose feathers here and there. Bro, she was making a fucking buffet feeding ground for the hawks.
Yeah.
She didn't even know. She was feeding them, but the hawks was like, yay, all right. Because they were all come there for the feeding and they would just fucking swoop down. Because she had like a little area right there in her backyard.
We know where you're going to be all the time. That's where like I'm 50-50 on the. I could see people releasing hawks to fuck with the people in South Central, but then also too, I could see, like we were saying, birds are smart. I could see the hawks like eventually learning. Let's keep it real. Fucking meat over here.
Right on the boulevard over here in New Haven, they have a spot that I don't know if it's still a couple of years back. It was that, but it made on the big thing on the news right there on the boulevard, right across from the river, on Legion Ave over there in that middle section. There's a bald eagle's nest in there, and they come there once a year, and they park it there. You know what I'm saying? So now you're thinking of how close that is to the hood, and you're talking about bald eagles.
Yeah.
and like you go and they're selling crack a couple blocks up the way. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So I could kind of see where they do that. And they say half the, no bullshit. And they say in the hood because it's kind of close. You see, because it's different in New Haven, where it's like the hood is kind of close to there's some natural life, like East Rock and shit, is not too far away. So these hawks they live in those areas. So what they're doing now, they said half the time that's probably what's happening to people's missing dogs, little dogs especially.
Oh yeah.
You got a little dog missing. Oh, you know, a lot of times people rule out the fact that
fucking eagle
a
came
fucking
and got
hawk,
that motherfucker.
thinking it's just like, hey, just like he's got the bird's eye as they call it. I'm like, what's that moving down there? Oh,
No.
That look about right. At the Hawkeye on him, it's like he's like, yo, that look about my size. I can get that little nigga. Next you know, a little Fifi up in the air. You know what I'm saying? You ain't shit. Somebody's pet, man. But you know, it's a thing to think about. So I hear you though. You know, it's like sabotage or did they stumble into the hood? You know, like what is it? You know what I mean? The way it looks, it feels sabotagey because the way they set the nigga up.
Exactly. But also too, that's where I was like feeling bad for Keith, where I'm like, why'd you put it on the top? Like burn that motherfucker in the backyard. Why'd you put it in a bag and then just put it right on top of your garbage?
Because he felt nobody was watching. Yeah. That's all that was. Nobody saw me do this. Nobody knows. But it's like, you got to always assume somebody's watching. Maybe. Look around, nigga. Use your hood sensors. Yeah,
well, that's the thing, too. Like, if it's illegal and you know it's illegal, like, don't put it on top of your fucking trash can. But I get to, man, they saw him shooting it anyway. But
yeah, those guys are hiding in cars and shit behind curtains and shit. You know, some real stakeout shit like they were real private investigators.
Didn't have a motherfucking thing to do, but just watch this motherfucker do that. Man.
Yep.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You know, it's some things people do for their passion. Like maybe that nigga's passion was fucking hawks, man. He's like, fuck this, man. You only killing. You love pigeons. I love hawks. Let's go to war. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, your love is killing my love, nigga. How about that?
Or that was just a hating motherfucker that was just hating on his ass because, you know, he was doing something he loved. And maybe, you know, the street was a little crowded at some points when his other people would come around and shit. And they didn't like the fucking fact that there was a lot of fucking people in the neighborhood fucking watching birds and they had to do something about it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They fuck them dudes, man.
I hear you, man. Or, hey, you know what? Sometimes people feel bad for the gazelle when the lion attacks and eats. But what about the lion?
What about the lion?
You know, because if that nigga doesn't eat that gazelle, he gets all skinny, sick, and start dying. Those same people that felt bad for gazelle now feel bad for the lion.
What the fuck you always say? What is your fucking favorite saying? It's a fucking pecking order.
That it is. All puns intended with the beaks, nigga. It is
the bird gang.
Fucking, it's a pecking order and a half.
All right. What are we doing here? What is that? Like, come on. Cut the fucking sensory and the fucking censorship method of thinking.
Right.
Fuck that.
Like I said, I'm 100%. If he's out there hunting them, that's different. This man is protecting his pigeons that are his property. At that point, it's a stand your ground kind of state. You know what I'm saying?
What if it was a fucking alligator coming into his backyard trying to kill his dog?
Yeah.
You're gonna let the fucking alligator come and kill your dog, or you're gonna just fuck? You know what I mean? Or, like, what the fuck? Come on.
Yeah, you just gotta let him go, or what is it?
You gonna wrap that alligator up and throw it in your trash, or what?
I know. Place it on the top. Yo, but I feel there were definitely similarities to where the last documentary that we watched, to where I feel like shit was left out, especially in Keith's life, where they're talking about. You know, Keith is the man. He's killing it, all this stuff. And then, well, you know, he took last year off. He's just going to regroup and get back together. And like, whoa, let me know what happened, bro. Like, why did he take the year off?
They didn't say that. That's more that divorce and shit. I think that's what that was. That was probably more, you know, and I think he does. Now, I was did he just have his kids on his time or did he have custody of them? I think he just had them on his time.
Either, maybe it was shared custody, something like that. I was trying to think like, and then was dropping them off.
They introduced the kids in their names and stuff like that.
Yep.
When I first watched, I didn't get that was his daughter. I thought that was maybe because she looked a little older. I was like, is that
there
like
was one that looked older? Yeah.
I was like, is that his young girlfriend or something? I was like, no, I think that's his daughter.
Yeah, and I think his daughter was trying to get through to him of like, yo, stop doing this, and mommy will come back and love you. You know what I mean? Like it felt.
Yeah, she tried to, but he said she wanted me to be something I wasn't. You know, and at the end of the day, that's the realest shit that he could probably do.
I respect that. Yeah, I really do respect that.
you know, she tried to make me be something I wasn't. And he's like, this is who I am. And it's like at that point, when you with a nigga that you got with him and he been doing this shit with pigeons, you knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to go in there and take that nigga's like hobbies and shit. Don't do that.
Bro, but there are certain women out there that okay, I got him hooked. Now I'm gonna make him who I want him to be. And that's like, and to women's credit, there are a lot of guys that will fold and they'll mold and they'll become a different person. Like everybody's had that dude where you're just like, oh yeah, we can't hang out anymore because he has a girlfriend. You know?
Or he's painting the picture to you of this better person he wants.
Or he's trying to live the double life. Yeah. Like when I'm around her, like I saw a video on TikTok the other day of,
baby. I'm trying. Yo, Keisha, where you at?
it could have been a setup, but I saw a video online the other day of this dude's in McDonald's and his girlfriend kicks in the door like, what the fuck? We're vegan. You make that, and like you gotta tell he's just like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. You know what I mean? Like I've been pretending that I'm a vegan to get pussy, and now I'm just fucking done with it. Come back.
Damn. That was I had to stop. I was about to take a bite.
I know. I saw. I was like,
no.
That's a great point, though. That is a great point. You know what I mean? It's like
pretending to be vegan to get the boogie.
You know what I'm saying? It's like Darius. This documentary and similarities, man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I felt like with Keith, like he could have gone through the worst shit. Like my man in the beginning, like he was saying. Like, you know what I mean? I could be angry in the house, but when I come with the birds to the birds, I'm not angry.
It's like a meditation type shit.
Yes. So that was Keith's sanctuary. You know what I mean?
The happy place, brother. The happy place. I'm telling you.
And it's like you gotta find when you're trying to settle down with somebody, if that's your part of your life you're trying to do, you got to remember that you got to find somebody that's willing to take you with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
ready to accept that.
Part,
you know what I mean?
And that part with them too. You know what I mean? She knew what he was about, or if not, because they were young when they got together. So
he picked it up along the way. He's like, "Hold on, nigga, I was here before these birds."
one or two things was a factor here. Either A, you know what I mean? She knew him while he was doing this with his pigeons, or B, she came into it with him with these pigeons.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So either or, they were it was hand in hand. You know about it, hands down. Now I get it. You know what I mean? Where, you know what I'm saying? It's like also with the South Central Cowboys. You know what I mean? It's with the horses. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I understand the love and the similarity with those.
Those are complicated.
But I think my bad. I think when it comes, me personally, this is just me personally. I think when it comes down, when you have a family and shit like that, I think that's the time where you have to come to a point and try to at least now sacrifice at least some of that leisure time a little bit to focus more on the family, or just make sure enough that the family is well taken care of and you're good and the family's good, and then you're allowed and you can go now with your pigeons and do that also, as you know what I'm saying, as much as you can. Now in his case, I think Keith's case, the person that he is and how so meticulous he is with his birds, I believe, you know, it carried on also in his life also. But I just think that the woman couldn't comprehend it. I could be wrong.
Right.
It just looked at to me that,
you know, I always feel like I believe in that, man. I think that sometimes it's hard for male or female, but just a significant other to somebody that has a passion for something and they're doing it like that. Now, if you have somebody that doesn't know anything about that, then maybe they just don't do, you know what I mean? They can't understand that. You know what I mean? So I almost, in a sense, it's like, to them, it's just like, nah, it's just stupid. It's stupid to you because you don't know what it's about to have something. Like if you had something you was passionate about and you put energy into, you could understand where this is right now. You know what I mean? So I think like when you're pushing that, you kind of, sometimes if you don't have somebody that kind of can dive into that, they don't get it. You know what I mean? So
and I believe she didn't do that. In my opinion, I believe she didn't. Don't get me wrong. She might love the man, you know what I mean, through thick and thin, and through life changes, ups and downs, you know, real life up and down shit. You know what I'm saying? She probably, you know, supported him and shit like that. But it's just she didn't. get to that level of understanding, I guess, to also incorporate this aspect of like, okay, he's loved. This is like very passionate. This isn't like a phase thing.
Yeah.
Like this is something to him. You know what I mean? Enough to be like, all right, to be understanding and give him that space. Like I'm
Yep.
like, cause you gotta do that, man. Like me personally, like I give my woman her space, man. You know what I'm saying? To where like I want her to be like, baby, you know what I'm saying? To where I do, when I do see it, she's like, yeah, baby, to be happy to see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, it isn't like I'm fucking, you know what I mean, months and years away. Nah. But you got to give sometimes your space because sometimes I want my little space and personal time. There's nothing wrong with that. You know
No,
what I mean?
it's
And I
healthy. It's healthy.
and I believe there's where like some of a lot of these issues are with relationships, where
Yeah.
to like
That
some
attached to the
people
hip
think,
shit, it never ends well.
yes,
That shit never
yes,
ends well.
thank you. The attack, exactly. That shit does not. It doesn't.
Yep.
Like you need to be away from each other a little bit. Have
Yeah.
your personal time. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
I think she didn't do that.
Yeah. I
She didn't
think
do a
that could have
great
been it,
job.
or
Could have been it.
or because I go with either one. It could have been that, or Keith's time just ramped up to it. Like we don't know where Keith started out. Maybe he only had one kit and he had 5 birds in the backyard and was doing whatever. And then it
Right.
turned into, Keith, now you have 400 fucking birds and you have to spend 6 hours a day out there. And with that said,
Right.
too, I feel like, I don't know if the industry is there, but maybe also Keith was bullshitting without hopping in with both feet and being like, what I do for a job is I breed and sell birds. You know what I mean? Like, I know that
He
we
didn't
saw him
commit
do it
fully.
once.
He didn't
You know
commit
what I'm
fully.
saying?
Right.
We saw him do it in an auction in the backyard, but then, like I said, also, I don't know if that industry is there and viable for you to do that all the time.
To make an
either,
actual
you know?
living on, like, right.
Yeah.
It's like, can you make a earnest living on
Yeah.
doing that? Is there enough clients
Right.
for you? Like you said,
Exactly.
you know,
Is the
for that to
auction once a
happen.
month and you make $400 off of it, or
Right.
could you constantly? Because I'm telling you, it felt real crackish when he was making up that fucking bird coke and putting in pills.
That was
shit didn't
weird.
feel
Because
good.
when he first started showing it, I was thinking like, what?
Did he go
I'm
back to
like,
selling?
yeah,
Yeah.
because he talked about it before, and then they
Yep.
did that, and I was like, oh damn, this is where we at with it. Is this where
Yeah.
the Pigeon Kings takes a twist? Are they gonna start smuggling fucking coke with the pigeons? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't think like they about to start smuggling this shit. What's popping? Like,
But I'm
no,
telling you, to me, that shit felt ugly and desperate. Well, when he started making his own pills and of course, who's he selling them to first? Choo Choo. He got his fucking $80 or whatever it was.
Tell you, man, he's gonna help your birds, man. It's like, is it?
But even you hear in that conversation, he's like, but are they gonna? They're not gonna kill him once it stopped taking it, like the other stuff you gave me. So then you're like, okay, you've already been doing this. You did it. Like I said, that
you've already killed the fucking one of your kit members, man. What the hell you getting another one for?
that shit felt desperate, and it felt real crackish. It felt real like
I didn't pick up on it till you said that right now. Like, oh, okay, yeah, he did have that type of fucking, because he did say it like that. He's like,
and even when he was like looking for the jobs, it was very just like pissed off to be there. Like, why are you even there? Like, is that court ordered? Are you trying to find a job?
Well, I'm telling you that's another spot where I felt like a kinship to Darius, because when he was in his car after that, and he's like, yeah, man, no, I don't want, like, I just want to fly these birds. Like, you could tell there was a very one singular focus shit of like, well, I think once again, this is my happy place. I'm only happy when I'm doing this bird stuff.
Right.
And kind of, like I said, I'm not saying that losing your woman over it is the worst thing that could happen, because like I said, I don't know who she was as a person.
Right. But it could have been the best thing to happen to him. Right.
Exactly. But when you lose your wife and your kids are sitting there telling you like, that's why she left, is because all the birds, and it's
too much. And it's like you're coming in the house smelling like pigeon shit. Like, you know what I mean? That all you hear is pigeons cooing. Like, your pigeons are, you get a bunch of those in your fucking backyard.
Oh, it's loud as shit. Yeah.
That could probably annoy somebody. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of, if you don't got the proper space, you know what I mean, for things like that's why, like, for me, having a big dog in a small apartment is very selfish to that big dog. Sometimes, you know what I mean? It's like, if you got a fucking studio apartment, why are you getting a fucking Rottweiler,
German Shepherd,
right? A Great Dane and
yeah.
I agree.
What are you literally doing to that dog's life right now? It's like, is it fair to him? They have to fucking walk around in a bigger kennel. you
Yeah.
know?
I almost felt like Keith was too into it without any monetary, payback
Right.
for it. You know what I mean?
It's
Because
like that
you
the
could tell he
dreamer,
was
the hustle dreamer, the dreamer vibe. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he needed a manager or somebody to take care of the business aspect. So we're like, okay, you're the artist, and now you need somebody else to handle the business because
Right.
Keith, from what it seemed like and from what everyone was talking like, he knows what he's doing. He's the man with that shit. He knows how to breed. He's got all that shit locked down.
Trophies and shit. Yep.
Yeah, but it's that, like we were saying earlier, does it even fucking matter? Well, what do you get for first place? Is it just maybe he was coming back in the house like, babe, I got the most points ever, and she's like, and we have a bill for $300. So what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That could have been
Terrence
that too.
about to come blow my back out while you was fucking with the birds. He was fucking me.
Right.
Oh man. Oh
Hey, listen.
man.
Listen, if you had a woman that was
Oh,
obsessed
man.
with taking care of her pigeons all the time and you never got booty, you'd think about it.
Yo, think of when you got so many birds that then your wife
It's a horrible thing to think about, man. A horrible truth to think about.
Your wife becomes a bird? Oh my God.
Oh, man.
She's coming home and she's fucking, you put dinner on the table and she's fucking pecking it on the fucking
and she's acting like a bird where she's going outside the relationship all because of those bird, man. But I'll tell you too, like I said,
she's keeping them warm.
Are we calling them pigeons now too? Oh my goodness.
No pigeons. I think
pigeons.
Who said it?
Oh my goodness.
Was Sporty Thieves.
Sporty Thieves.
Oh
Sporty
my
Thieves.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Sporty Thieves.
No
Shout out
pigeons,
to
no
Sporty
scrub.
Thieves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Street Cinema. One of my favorite albums.
Man.
Street Cinema.
Well, I'm telling you too,
man.
this shit has got to be tough when women have a good track record of changing guys. So then when you get a woman that it doesn't work for, I feel like of course she would be surprised. You know what I'm saying? She would be like, wait, this isn't how this shit's supposed to work. As one knows, like, this isn't how it's supposed to work. You know what I'm saying? Where she's probably as confused as everybody else of like, I have a pussy. You're supposed to change your life. What the fuck is going on? This isn't working how it's supposed to. Like, that's why, like,
you want to know the fucked up thing about it? Because I forgot my man's name, man. He's on YouTube, man. You know what I mean? And he was explaining, right, how in a relationship, how the women want all this monogamy, not to get off topic, all this want this monogamy shit and this commitment shit and all this and all that, right? So we do it. We commit, we get married and this and all that, right? So when it's time to get some pussy, they're like, now fuck that. This is what you signed up for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want me to be the motherfucking backbone, the provider, the supporter, the financial fucking guy, the moral guy, the fixer-upper in the house, the Mr. Every motherfucking thing, well, then that also comes with, yo, listen, baby, when I want to fuck just to fuck, then we gonna fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Do you guys agree or disagree? I don't know.
That reminds me of who the fuck was it? Was it Chappelle when he had that bit about being divorced, and it was like, well, why is she getting half? Or it's because her how do you say? They said her condition of living changed. So basically saying because she lived at a certain status, you got to pay that much to keep her close to that status.
Right. You got to.
But none of it was earned. He said, well, I was used to, getting head every once in a month. He said, can I get? He was like,
Can I still
do I still get the head once a month too? But we had that deal too. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying?
What are we talking? Yeah. So my point when I was saying that, my point is this: is like they don't commit to that. You know what I'm saying? They object all the time, and it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah. So at a certain time, so come on,
it's tough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
My man Keith probably fucked up, or maybe he didn't, but he might have got caught. See, we don't know. Maybe he got caught fucking trying to plow one of the pigeons out back, nigga. Some fucking doing the, you know what I mean? Bestiality shit, man.
Yeah.
You got it. This is how you got to get closer to the. This is how they fly right for you, nigga. This is how they fly right.
in the words of Nori, man. In the words of Nori, you gotta relax.
You gotta relax. Hey, man. You never know, man. I don't know people, man. People get real deep into their shit, man. You never know.
Oh,
man,
but you do, man. Nah, you have a point. There are people that do shit like that. You know?
I mean, I respected the opening scene when a nigga was like helping the baby chick, and then he was explaining what he was doing to that with the baby pigeon. plucking the
Yeah.
eggshell open and shit, and you helping them out. He said, hey, you
Giving
got
them a
kid that need to
chance.
be- yeah, he said kids that need to be
Yeah.
incubators, you got to help them out too, right? Somebody got to help them, so you know, I'm here to help.
Yep.
You know, I appreciate his efforts and what he's into. Like I almost feel like, you know what, Keith, you need to just go ahead and be a forestry like somebody, man. Just go ahead and save birds and shit. Be the guy that's taking the picture of the guy killing the hawk.
You right? Like my thing was like I was telling Bay, I was like, my thing was, listen, right? You got so much acquiring and knowledge of this shit, right? You know birds, like literally, you know how to fucking breed birds, right? You're finding jobs to fucking try to do. Why don't you find a job in fucking birds?
Yeah. Something with birds.
You know what I mean? Why don't you find a job
Hey,
into being in a like a breeding person,
let's think about this now.
right?
How many places for a black man in South Central that got trained birds? Now he might have to
that's what I'm
travel.
saying,
He
though.
might not have the means for it. You know, some people get, and then some people get stuck. You got to take that too into account. Not to use it as a thing, like not a crutch, but it's just to say that some people get stuck in their hood so much that they don't think about ever leaving it.
No, I
You know what I mean?
understand that because
Like I'm gonna make everything happen. I'm gonna make everything happen right here. I'm gonna fly my pigeons right here. I'm gonna be big and famous. And when it's like, yo, you should be like up in Northern California somewhere. You know what I mean?
I get that.
With the, you know, because that's where those things are happening. It's unfortunate, but what I'm just saying is the neighborhood he lives in, people not giving a shit about pigeons. He in the wrong place for that. You know?
Right.
He's gotta travel a little bit.
And that's just the downside of living in the city. And in those type of
you find a passion. Right. You're a kid from the fucking you're a kid from the Bronx or something. You know, the odds of you know finding a fucking hockey team, you gotta travel for that. You know what I mean? There's no hockey going on in the Bronx, man. You're traveling somewhere else to another school to integrate with them just to play that sport. So if you have a passion for that, man, if you're living in the inner city, you don't have a chance, bro. You're not playing cricket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Well, the other thing too is you unfortunately don't get to pick your passion, and also you don't get to pick if your passion will support you. Like, yeah, that's his favorite thing to do. That's what he wants to do the most, and it doesn't matter. Like, versus say somebody else is just like, bro, I can come while doing taxes. When I do taxes, I'm in the best space in my life. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, that motherfucker is going to go and you're like, yo, this is the best dude ever to do taxes, and you're going to be paid well for it. You know what I'm saying? But you love pigeons, and that might not be, you know.
It might not pay. But I hear you. It's like, just because it's your passion don't mean it's going to pan out for you to make some financial gain in it. Like, and I love collecting stamps. Like, that don't mean you're going to be a stamp collector.
You might get the $1 million stamp one day, but you know what? You also got to pay your rent on the first, you know? So
more than likely.
Go ahead and handle that as well.
I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't think he's really grasping the fact that he's got to check it more. It's just a hobby for him.
Yeah. This might have to be a hobby.
You know what I mean?
Instead of like, bro, we know people like that. It's the fucking 45-year-old rapper that I'm like, oh my God. And you don't have a job and you can't pay your rent and you don't do, but you're hoping on that. And it's not just rap. It's in every other business to where, yo, eventually you might hit that point where you're like, oh shit, this isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Like when 50s and you're just like, at some point you got to look and be like, am I going to do something else, or am I really riding this out and trying to win a lottery ticket forever? You know, it's a tough decision.
It changes up on the motion of what you're doing and why you're doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you really enjoy it, and you know that in your mind that is a good possibility, you might not get any financial gain from it, but you got to put yourself in that awareness that that's a high possibility.
Yeah.
You still enjoy, you still want to do it, then do it.
Exactly.
Well, I wouldn't say lose your house over this shit though.
Yeah, exactly. Don't become a crackhead over it and fucking not be able to take care of your family.
Right. And hey, like I said, people, we're not saying give up on your dreams because you never know when Danny Trejo became famous in his fucking 40s, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy had a rough life. So, hey, and that wasn't even his dream. Like you said, his dream found him kind of almost deal. You know what I mean? It's his calling.
Talk to him. Write that book, dog. Write that book.
My dream found me.
Uh-huh.
But it's, sometimes you can put all your energy into something that's just not going to work. There's people you heard about, like, I'm going to be the best lawyer. The kid's been telling himself he's going to be a lawyer forever. He gets all the way up to going to fucking law school and does all that and then can't get a job and then ends up not becoming a lawyer or becoming the worst lawyer ever. And it's just like, damn, little nigga.
Exactly. Yeah. And also that's the thing too. What you love, you also might not be good at. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing too. Like you might love it so much.
Right. And that's why I give a shout out to when I talk about the local schools here in New Haven, when they have these magnet schools that each of them are geared towards different type of direct topics of studies. Like some of them are for science. This is the whole school is a magnet school for science. Their main thing in that school is they're teaching science. They're giving you other things, but the main shit is science. So it's like, to me, it's like, know your kid. Your kid is if your kid's into stuff like that, there's an outlet for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, like my daughter goes to a school that's more, it's for like arts and music, and it's more of that kind of vibe there. And it's like, if your kid is really into that, and you know, they still have a good education for things, they have schools like that. You know what I'm saying? They end up going to, like, you know, co-op schools and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? And that's like, I look at it like, it's almost like you can actually attempt to try to get your kid into something that they might be really into as a youth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, give them a better start.
I always wish I look at it like, man, in inner city, younger, like, you know, like I hear stories from others like, oh, teachers like, oh, you were such a great writer as a like a first grade. I'm writing little stories and my teacher's loving them because I go in details, and it's like, you don't think about it like, hey, nobody ever really tried to push me into like writing classes. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that's around. You know what I mean? That we just might not take advantage of. You know, it might not be accessible to where you're living at. You know what I mean? I think having access to all these things is key. You know what I'm saying? To know if you'll never know. Shit, I could have been a good hockey player. I don't know. I mean, I got it in my high school when we came up here to West Haven. It was integrated. They did have but at that point, I was like, I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost you got to find that young when you're playing hockey and you kind of enjoy that, not running on the ice with my friends in the wintertime on the frozen pond.
Right. It's like what it's like. Basically, it was like a contradictory almost. Like when Keith was, I felt like he contradicted himself, because at first he is saying about, you got to know your birds, you got to know your kid, you got to know how they are, and this, that, and the third, right? But dog, you going through a divorce,
bro. Get your own kid in order. Meanwhile, your home kid.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Get your kid in order.
It was like a contradictory, like a contradiction in some aspect of that. You know what I mean? Like,
right. He's the one that everyone is straight.
It just comes to priorities, man. You know what I mean? Like, it does. It just comes to priorities,
right?
Man.
And like you said, if the picture was painted differently in this doc, that O'Keefe was out there and he's getting bread and he's making it a business and he's into it and he's pushing, and it's like you see his purpose and his drive for it. But I mean, this guy's going to job fairs and shit, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not making an effort to get right in that field. Like I said, he might not live in a neighborhood or that, but you know what? Right. He's grown enough now. He's been in the game long enough now that he's at least talk to somebody or talk to people to know where it's happening at. Yeah. So I mean, like, Choo Choo gets a pass a little bit because the nigga's kind of a novice. He's a rookie to it a little bit.
Correct.
You know what I mean? He's trying to put time in to get to know it. He's almost like, I feel like he's just trying to look for the come up a little bit in it. But not really, because they're not getting money out of it. So I don't know what the
I agree. I 1,000,000% agree in that. You know what I mean? Like, Keith, instead of being still trying to fucking win the World Cup, maybe he should fuck around and maybe be a judge. Yeah. Because you got all these, he's got all these accolades, he's got all these awards, he's got all these trophies.
Right. Bro, you're getting paid. Now this thing is a big sport. You're getting paid for walkthroughs, bro. Yo, I need you to walk through this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Fly throughs. You want to fly through?
Like,
yo, come through. We got this pigeon event going on.
You know what I mean? Like, let's go. Level up. It's time to level up now. You know what I mean?
You got Keith on the meet and greet, dog. Come on. That ain't happening.
Meet and greet with Keith, nigga. That's great. But he could have. But at this point in the game, like I said, he's been doing it so long, and he's like, he doesn't know what he wants to do. So at this point, bro, it's time to either make that thing a business or move on. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
now
you said,
listen,
he lost his whole fucking
I
family
know
for it.
black don't crack, so I don't know his exact age, but he wasn't super young. I mean, he was also not
No.
super old, but he was
At
not
least in
super
his
young.
40s, early
So
50s, 40s,
yeah, so
early 50s.
And that's what it looked like, at least.
it was fucking
Right.
with me to see him at that job fair, because I know what those are, because when I was on unemployment 10 years ago, I know what those are, because I've been there and that's not, bro.
They go around the room like that?
You could tell the lady who was trying to get a job at fucking Walmart, because that's what they're doing. That, to me, it looked like a situation where that was his unemployment's about to run out, and they're trying to get you literally any job possible. Because, like I said,
right,
Walmart thing, all that.
Right, to get unemployment, you got to prove to them that you're looking for jobs.
That you're trying, that you're looking.
Right,
exactly.
right. So that's what he was doing.
I can tell you exactly what that was, bro. That was a fucking court-ordered place for those people that are either ex-offenders or recovering drug addicts.
Mm.
And I'm sorry to say it, man, but that's a program. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To help those individuals.
Or unemployment. We would try to give him the benefit of the doubt. No, he could, but he didn't really elaborate, so it's all open for air. So
but,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but look at the room, man. Look at the room. The room speaks louder than the actual people saying anything.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look, my man with the glasses with the tattoo, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of it was people at the end of their rope, you know, and it seemed like like Keith was smarter than that. But if Keith is that focused,
thank you.
If he's there, there's a reason why he's there.
Exactly.
He didn't stumble in there. What am I doing here, dressed up in a suit?
Yep.
I believe that was part of his stint when he was saying, you know what I mean, he was hustling. That was probably one of his stipulations to be in these programs for a certain amount of time.
Keith he left some gaps in his shit. So
it
was a lot of gaps. It was kind of hard for him to hard to kind of filter through what the nigga was talking. Like, well, we really talking about Keith? You know what I mean? Like you left your family, but it did. I feel like it did drag out with him a little bit as far as like following him around, and it ran away from the actual World Cup competition.
That's what I said. Like
to them and their fight towards it, I guess.
And for me, I was wishing like, damn, I wish this was about more than two people, because there were a whole bunch of scenes of them like
Mexican
closing the pigeon doors.
There was like
doing nothing. That's why
some of the Mexican guys from the that were in there made like cameos. They were flying pigeons too. They didn't really get any floor space to.
And what about the dude that I wanted them? I wish they dove in a little bit more. What about the only dude that was talking shit to Keith? The guy that had the Bluetooth shit in his ear. He was wearing a khaki suit, and he was just like, "Man, my kid, we kill you right now, man. I'll get my birds. I'll send them up there."
Oh, the old dude.
Yeah, dive into that. Let me know what that dude's doing.
I know that was great. I was hoping to see a fly off or some shit.
Yeah.
Meet me in the park. Bring your birds, nigga.
what I got? You know what I got from that? I got from them Cali dudes out there. Still talk shit even when they in their mid-40s.
Oh yeah.
Ain't gonna change. Northeast is gonna be the same. Northeast the same way. You never seen an old school. You ever seen a 60-year-old nigga in New York with a tracksuit on and shit, and his Adidas talking about, what up, punk? You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro, with the do-rag and the tracksuit.
With an old Rockefeller jacket on, talking about I used to do security.
We're gonna go deeper. The nigga had the 8-ball going back. Yo, what up, punk? That's Funky Fresh. Nigga said Funky Fresh. What the hell's going on? So hey.
No, I did barrier security before at the Def Jam concert. I was there.
I felt bad for dude. I kind of felt sorry for dude.
Yeah, but then you go into that. You can only feel sorry for somebody that feels sorry too much for themselves, almost in the
talk to him.
It's like ain't no space for me, man. You took it all up. Ain't no room for me to feel bad for you because you out there doing dumb shit like Darius.
I've said it before. I've said it before, and I will say it again. You know what you have to do. That motherfucker knows what he has to do. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need all these gurus and everything else in moments of awakening, bro.
All these birds gonna leave you on the street.
I'm just saying.
It's gonna end up where that nigga's gonna be in the street on a park bench with them pigeons permanently, nigga. You and the pigeons on the park bench, nigga. That's gonna be you.
And you might be able to train them well enough to sleep on you at night, so you got some protection. But still,
start looking like the lady from Home Alone Part 2 when the bitch she had all the pigeons. She had all the pigeons on her in Central Park, nigga. That's gonna be motherfucking Keith. Compton's
I'm sorry,
finest.
man. I'm sorry, man. I guess I'm being a little bit too liberal.
He gonna be at the swamp. He gonna be at the swamp meet and shit.
You
Just selling
guys
pigeons for the
are
low.
being more real and conservative about it. I like it, and
Oh my god.
I'm just not seeing.
I know,
just
but I
wasn't-
hear what you. No,
You're right.
you
Right.
because he had that about him that makes you want him to
No, of
win.
course.
You know what I mean? So I get it.
Man,
you know,
listen.
you want the dude to
That's
win.
the
You're
reality,
like, yeah,
bro. In this
right.
life, what you got to do, nigga? Pay your bills and make sure you got a place to live.
They go wifey. They go keep wifey.
The side
great.
profile.
Bro,
Yeah.
hanging in Central Park with the Pidgeys.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
That's great.
That's true. Like I said, man, what you love might not love you back. That's just the reality of it. Like you love pigeons so much, but that doesn't mean that you now get to, live a comfortable life because of it. He might be the best, or maybe he's just bad at business. Maybe he's just not. Maybe he, like I said, maybe he's the artist so much. Maybe he likes it so much that he can't get into the business side.
And then I think about it too. It's like, bro, you're paying for maintenance of those birds back there. I mean, not much, but you're feeding them. You're paying for out of your pocket for an expensive or something that you're not even going to eventually win money from.
Yep.
If you're selling them like he's doing, I get it. I get that. But if if not, you're just fucking flying them to have a trophy. You're paying for that trophy at that point.
Hey yo, not for nothing, but yo, Keith, you just so happen to stumble on this presentation that we're doing, man. Hey yo, man, do us a favor. Take your own advice. How you told us you got to know your birds with the wings and how their actions and behaviors and shit like that. You don't mix them in with certain types. Take that evaluation, man, with yourself, dog. You know what I'm saying? You'll get it together. I'm not saying that you ain't got it together, but it'll be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I mean, he's pretty poetic talking about birds mating for life and shit, so he gets
it. Yes.
You know what I mean? He got a little knowledge of life and acceptance of fucking pigeons, man. I'm gonna be looking at pigeons differently now as I shoo them away from me. Oh, look at you, little nigga. You smarter than I thought. Know what I didn't realize too? And I guess and I'm gonna go back to this reference because I have a pigeon reference of you, Fat Cat, me and you. Probably really I think we were really high or drunk or some of the both. We're walking down the street and you turned, stopped, and pivoted, looked square into my soul and said, "Yo, you want to see how we catch pigeons in New York?" And then nigga attempted to walk up behind one and grab it. Needless to say, he didn't catch him because it's what they did, but not him. So what I found fascinating is this thing is like I found that funny you said that. I thought about that, but it's like when I look at it, it's like you probably really could because they look very handleable. Like you know what I mean? I almost feel like they were handling them with ease and they weren't pecking at them. Maybe that's over time handling them, but I almost feel like he didn't have every one of them pigeons since they were little. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
they could be domesticated in a certain way. I think that probably caught me off more like, oh, they kind of
he's
domesticate
a breeder.
them a little bit.
I mean, he's a breeder, so I believe he.
But Choo Choo was grabbing his shit too.
To be able to put your palm up in so many attempts, he puts his palm up, and then at the last time, the fucking bird just lands right in his palm, just to stay in his palm.
Yeah, that's Statue of Liberty pose.
Right. Like, but you know what? I ain't gonna front. I'm a big fan of the pigeon toss. It's kind of dope. I don't know why.
I like that. You know what I mean?
It's always like a mazel tov, and the niggas just tossing the nigga. Yeah, it was just toss them, and they just I can't laugh. I don't mean to laugh, but I ain't gonna front. When the nigga was outside and the nigga made a crash landing, he was like, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, nigga, I was all over the place with that one. Like,
I was
and Choo Choo came because now that I look deeper, I look deeper to the documentary and see he was high as shit. So he more like he was high when he reacted because he reacted like a high dude was like, what Dude was like, yo, your pigeon just crashed into the fucking ground at a high speed. It's like, yeah, it be like that sometimes. Take it off.
Yo, you really, be like that sometimes.
Be like that. Take it off. Take it, nigga, you didn't see the impact. This bird probably broke his neck or something, man. Like, he was covered in hot.
I think that was the bird he gave away too, right? Was his name? And you could just
you just earned your way a one-way trip, nigga. You know what I'm saying, man?
After the bird hit, it rolled and then stood on his legs and was just looking at him.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was like, if they go through a days period, like do birds go through a day, like a lot of animals go through days period when you see a dog hit his head and he's like, ooh, like that bird almost seemed like he didn't get that. Like he kind of ate that shit. Was like, all right, we here. All right, we good.
Yeah.
We good. Where the food at? Where the bird be at? Oh man, but Chew was so high and slow to slow to react to that shit. I was like, this nigga Chew.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yeah,
no, he was too high the entire episode. Like he definitely smokes the downers. You know what I'm saying? Where he just
all indicas, all indies.
All indies. He's indies. He's an indies. All indies all day long.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That was amazing. That was amazing.
I laugh about how he was so inquisitive at the end, like when he was like, I gotta find out why, Rich. I gotta find out why. I was like, this nigga got real deep at the end of that shit.
Yo, what was that about?
Because all right, so jumping into that part when they actually, so now we're doing all this talking. See how well that got stretched and we finally get to the part where they actually competed? It was like near the end when he finally had his run. And if I'm not mistaken, both got disqualified.
Well, the Falcon fucked up Keith's run because the Falcon came out and fucked up the bird's flight pattern.
It broke him up. One of them
broke up his shit. And
Choo-Choo shit just didn't want to do shit because his birds was probably just as high as him.
Good. No, those birds were flying good at first. You know what I'm saying? They were flying good. Then all of a sudden, one just said, you know what? I'm too high.
He said they weren't flying that great. He said they weren't. He said they were off. Remember, he said they were off all day. He said they weren't. He said they weren't tumbling. He said nobody spun. He said he didn't get no spinners, no rollers.
That was at the end of the day. But I'm just saying, as the beginning when the takeoff.
Yeah, it started bad.
It started when he started flying. The guys was like, "Oh, they're looking all right." As soon as that motherfucker landed on that motherfucking wire line, it was a wrap after that.
Yep. Because remember, they were saying that the birds weren't going as high as they usually do, which shout out to Choo-Choo. He probably had them, on the downers, but they needed to be, because that's what they were saying. They're like, yo, man, they're not higher. They're supposed to be at a higher, altitude. But it was funny how Choo-Choo was just like, man, they never do this shit. This is not how they ever fly. Nothing like this ever happens. And then today,
and it's like you follow him around because you saw at the beginning of the documentary, he did have a good run when that guy came out. Remember, he had like an 18.5.
Yep.
On the score, which I think how they broke it down. They said, I think he said anything below a 20, you're getting gigged on.
Yeah.
I think it was the move.
The guy said, well, yeah, like 13 or lower, you're getting talked about.
I thought he said 18.
You know what I'm saying? 18, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, because weren't they saying like 20 to 25 is respectable?
That's respectable.
That's
right. That's why I said anything below 20, then niggas ain't hearing you.
Well, yeah.
And all these guys would get below 20s the whole fucking documentary.
Yeah.
So we didn't really see a winner.
That's what I was saying. That's why this was depressing for me, because it's like
in the beginning One in the beginning it did. Somebody had like a 197.13 in the beginning.
Nah, you looked at that period wrong. That was 18. No. That was a 19.
he had a 197.
Nah,
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can check. You can check. It was in the beginning.
I think it was like a 19 point something. Because the scores don't go up that high. I don't think they go all the way up to the fucking hundreds like that. I don't think.
Check it out.
I try to get into I want to see a little bit more about these pigeon flying things, and it's a thing. There's a science to it, and there's a method, and there's a training method of actually getting the birds to go and come. I'm more impressed that you get them to go out and come back at will. I guess that part just probably impressed me more than the actual. I feel like what they're doing is they're competing, but they're judging them and competing on something that they naturally do. You know what I mean? It's like You're not up there like you're not training your bird to fly together as a group and do those tumbles. That's just something they do, and they just try to keep it where the closer you like we was saying, Rich was saying, the closer you keep your birds, the closer you keep them together as a family, the tighter that kit becomes. Almost, you know what I'm saying? You got to let them kind of choose and their mates and shit like that, and even
That's
though he
what I
pairs
wish
them up.
they explain more about the
Right.
tumbling of. Is it just literally you go up there and then they just by chance
Right.
start tumbling and
Well,
then
that
all of
one
them do
guy,
it?
the guy in the barbershop, I assume that's what they were saying, that they catch Caesars. So
I don't, but you know what? Because
you
of
thought that was bullshit?
all of his fake jewelry, I could not trust anything else that he said because he was wearing plastic jewelry and that shit was ridiculous. He was the biggest because even like I literally, man, I'm taking this way too far. I hate people like that guy because he was wrong with what he said, with what he guessed about what was happening. And then he was like, see, I told you, right? I told you, right? And he's like, we're not talking about the same thing. And
Oh yeah, when he was like, "See, I told you." He said, "What happened?" He goes,
even to the point where he even had the audacity to be like, "You
"He
didn't
said there's
come out
something
with
wrong
that."
with them." He said they have seizures. He goes, "See, I told you there's something wrong with them, right?" He goes, "No, there's nothing wrong with them. They have. It's a natural thing they do. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like
that's why
it's a
I hate it. Like he had that.
It's his
I have
gene. It's
to
a
no.
Phat
See, I'm
gene.
right. I'm right. I'm right. And it was like,
right.
no, but you're not right. You're just
You got to
not
control
right,
the
man.
energy in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nah, my shit is
It
right.
was
My shit is real.
Because
And that's barbershop shit. To be honest, man, you go to
It
barbershop,
is.
you pee, you know it. You're saying it's always somebody's always got to be in there dropping ball. Nigga, I'm the smartest one in the barbershop right now. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
here we go.
but
You know
because
what I'm
even
saying?
at the end,
right,
remember
right.
when that dude, the dude with all the glass jewelry on, was like, "Yeah, man, I used to do that shit. I might start doing
Right,
that shit again." Like, that shut the
right,
fuck up.
Now,
right.
right, you sitting
Exactly.
on
That
it.
was the
Now you
point I
are
was
like, I'm gonna
making.
get back
That was the point
involved.
I was
Yeah,
You
making.
yeah,
just took this time that
Exactly
the
what I
camera
was
was
saying.
rolling and you wanted to be on it.
exactly. That was
Let's
it.
just keep it real. And that's why he played him. That's why I said, damn, he just kind of aired him out on the documentaries because, hey, he was trying to get, now you think about it, when you say all this, it's like, yeah, because he was trying to get his own fucking little shine on. You know what I mean? Being that dude. It's like, cut it out, man.
That's true, man. They were trying for a little bit of extra love.
But, all in all, them niggas fucking, nobody won. nobody qualified. You know what I mean? Like you said, it was depressing because it almost built you up like somebody was going to qualify.
It
Almost like
bit
homeboy from the cowboy joint where it's like he didn't qualify, but it kind of told us that he was still competing afterward.
exactly.
The dude with the rodeo, the black bull rider.
Yeah, yeah. But this one, you're right. It that was supposed to be the comeback for Keith. That was supposed to be like, all right, Choo Choo's on the come up, but no, there was a fucking falcon. You know what I'm saying? And that was it.
That was it. Ugh.
That's why I
Falcon
said for
fucked
me,
it up.
this shit was depressing as fuck. Like this, because I
Yeah.
was just waiting for something good to happen, and then there was like no redeeming anything. And shit just kept
Nope.
getting worse and getting worse. Then all
Always.
right, well, it's the World Cup, so now Keith's gonna make his big comeback and then get to show his wife and just be like, "See, baby, I did this, so now we should be together. See, it was all worth it." And it was like, and then there was a falcon and it fucked up his kit, and now he
Right.
died.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
all
And, he gave,
done.
and they gave him they slipped him the pink card, the yellow card.
Yo, and he didn't want to tell anybody because remember, like, yeah, Keith, we all know that you're on camera. He got handed his slip and he fucking folded it up and turned the other way and they're like, "What'd you get?"
You gotta know that question's coming, bro. You in the
Word.
spot, man. All eyes on you,
Yep.
Tupac, man.
Nigga, you
What'd you
you
get?
got what Choo Choo got,
13.
nigga.
Yeah, yeah.
Got 13
A
point
D
something.
Yeah, because
a DQ, nigga.
then he
Uh,
opened it up and like, bro, you knew the number because remember when you looked at it and then turned away? No, you knew them. He opens it back. It was
Figure like a
13.2.
13 something,
Yeah, it
right?
was a 13
Yeah, yeah.
something. Yeah, it was laughable. It's like, you the
It was
OG. You
bad.
got a 13 OG. What happened?
Well,
Now,
a
in his
falcon
credit,
came and fucked up his
to
shit, so
his
it made sense.
credit, his birds were flying glorious. The
Right.
the pigeon toss at the end was fucking amazing. The way
You
he
know,
thrusted the birds in air, and
thrusting
then
the birds.
then the miraculous flight of the formation of the pigeons were just fucking glorious to see.
you you
And
know what?
then wait a minute, you hear a
Okay.
voice from the side. Yo, what's up? It's a fucking hawk. Here it comes and divides and conquers.
It's the whole fucking kit. D's like that sometime, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, no, what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, it was
Shit.
something very interesting. You know what I was gonna say? What I was hoping, which I would have liked to see, is Homeboy, the big dude, the director of the World Cup, the ball head guy.
Yeah.
They should have got more fucking, I think, interview questions out of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, kind of give us a little, hey man, we every year, boom, 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 and this is what it is. This is how many turnout we get. Explain the tournament a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, can a nigga get that?
Yeah.
Like, the tournament wasn't really explained. Like, okay, I know you're competing, but out of how many people? I mean, how many different flocks you go? Like, how's that scoring? Does it go by region? Does it go by just all overall? Like, who has the best points overall? They didn't break that shit down, so that kind of upset a nigga a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I will tell you though, one of the best lines of the movie was the end line here, where no, I'm not gonna make them fly up in these fucking clouds. No, it's cloudy out. We're gonna wait. We got like a half hour, and you still owe $10. And then walks away. That was the best shit.
Amazing. Stop fucking complaining.
Exactly. You still owe $10. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can talk all this shit.
And then
never talk shit when you owe somebody money, man.
Exactly.
Talking all that shit, you owe me fucking $10. Get out of my face, man. You got that.
Away.
That's just an embarrassing thing to hear from somebody like that.
Matter of fact,
pays you for $10 in front of everybody.
And you and all your birds, take a walk.
Exactly.
DQ.
The fuck out of here.
And I'm not talking about Dairy Queen. Get out of here. Take your fucking feathered friend with you.
Yeah.
I figured, I think we might have gone into it thinking it was about something else, because same shit. I would have liked to know, hey man, give us a little bit more into this process and what's happening with this. But it was just, a lot of it was about choo choo.
But good recommendation, Pedro and Jess. I get it. It was a new world to see, like, yo, motherfuckers be doing that. So I get where they were coming at. So, I appreciate that. But the information was a little lackluster at times. That's all. It was a little spacey.
So are we rating this thing? We rating this thing or what?
Yeah. Since I picked it, I go first. Since I picked the Pigeons Kings of the West Coast, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to give him a 2.3 Jordan type shit, because I wanted to shoulder shrug, because I was like, I don't. So we got 2.3 melons on these motherfuckers, because I really, and these are strong too. I want to give these 2.3s were very strong to a point of the knowledge I received of something I found interesting, as far as like, hey, there's a sport out there where people fly pigeons, and they're called kits when they're in groups, and they tumble and they get points and shit, air acrobatics. So I'm like, that information right there was kind of phenomenal to my soul, to know that there's something out there like that. But, once again, it's just us as people finding something that naturally happens and trying to fucking place on it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I bet you fucking $30 that my raindrop will go down the window faster than yours. You know what I'm saying? It's like people find things to bet on, man. You know what I mean? It's a natural thing that's happening, and we find a way to kind of, choreograph it in a sense. You know what I mean? We put it together and we do it for our entertainment. We make fucking people fight for us to laugh at and bet money on when people get knocked out. It's kind of just another thing up that alley, man. But it's just interesting to me, and I really appreciate the fact that there are young brothers out there in these neighborhoods that have a bad name, bad rep, and they're interested in having hobbies and doing things that normally you wouldn't think somebody from that area or those places would do. So, I give them a solid 2.3. Like I said, you would have got the other half if there was more information in the documentary. And I feel you, it wasn't no happy story at all. It was just a struggle of one man and his birds, or two men and their birds. You know what I'm saying? It's like too many people were left out, too many competitors. The Spanish dude that was there talking, he flew his shit too. They kind of told him, the Mexican guy, it was very briefly. He didn't really get no shine. So I almost feel like Rich might have been behind this documentary and helping it breathe a little bit, him and Chew. But I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, 2.3.
Keith,
watermelons. Yeah,
Keith,
what did I say? What did I say?
You said Rich. I didn't know
Rich.
that.
I don't even know Rich.
It's okay.
I'm rich in life right now. But yeah, Keith. Yeah, Keith gave it to him raw like OEB, and we followed him to a place that we didn't ask to go. We wanted pigeons. You know what I'm saying? We wanted pigeons.
Yo,
Man.
how is there not a band with that name? You know how those emo fucking groups that all wear black clothing and have black haircuts that are short? We followed them to a place we didn't ask to go. That is a band. Put their merchandise in Hot Topic tomorrow. Holy shit. We followed them to a place we didn't ask to go. On the main stage. You're going to go.
I want to see birds compete. I don't want to see a man struggle with his family and his birds and his kids telling him, Dad, you got to do better. What about our fucking school clothes?
Yeah. I'll buy you one shoe this week.
So how many watermelons you gave it?
I gave him 2.3 watermelons, man. So
2.3, 2.3.
It goes to
four banger.
Who's up to? I think Cinco.
No,
I
got it. Yeah, it's my turn. Man.
I do that. I gotta go check something out real quick, but do your thing.
All right. Yeah, I gave it 2 for me, man. It was I gave 1 for Chew and 1 for Keith, and that was about it. You know what I'm saying? Chew, because
you niggas get a poke and a piece. Get out of here.
Yeah. You guys each get a shekel. For Chew, I didn't see anything wrong with what he was doing. Chew was living his life. I don't know if he had a woman or not. He had his own spot. He was taking care of himself, doing the barber thing. Seemed to be making some all right money, man. He's chilling out. He's smoking. He's taking care of his birds. He's having a good time. He seems like a good guy. You know, he perhaps might get a little bit too high to be functional at some points. You know?
But and you could see him being at some point, he might just kind of give it up because it was something he wanted to try as a hobby, and he got into it like collecting sales ships.
Yep. For me, I think he wants to get a good score and to have that. So then, therefore, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but then, boom, I got that. I could always talk about that. You know, man. You know, I had 100-point run once, right? You know that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like niggas go all out for water cooler talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be the scuttlebutt review, nigga.
Exactly.
that's all I need to be in life is a scuttlebutt review.
Yep.
And I'm good with that. They're talking about me.
That's what it is. It's just like, yo, at one point, because right now, Keith can't live on his old accomplishments. He's got all the respect, and I don't mean that I feel that that's how Keith feels. Is Keith is like, no, I got to keep going, and Keith, I don't know if he has to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
he's still stumbling around trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
he's way past it. He's so deep in the game that he should be figured out something a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I think he went past the precipice of turning back. You know what I'm saying? I think he's like, well, I gotta kind of, but then he might not be going full blast into it. But for me, like I said, Choo, I felt like he was chilling. He was doing what he wanted to do. He wasn't hurting nobody. He's got a hobby over here. He's having fun. But as far as fucking, Keith goes, I think, man, it might be time to make a decision, But so yeah, for me, I gave it 2 pumpkins. It wasn't bad, but I believe kind of like everybody else.
Sorry about that, people.
I believe kind of like everybody else. He
didn't bring it home.
I don't know. It wasn't enough about the actual pigeons. It was a lot about a pretty depressing story.
Right.
I wish those brothers the best.
Yeah, good topics, sad stories.
Yeah.
So it's 2 pumpkins. So Mr. Canepa, how many Canepas do you got placed on this?
I mean, I gave it 2.7.
2 solid green Canepas. Okay, break it down.
No, 2.7. 2.7.
You got 2.7? Okay. Close. That's close to a 3. Okay, you can break it down.
I for both parts that you guys both tapped on, I agree. You know what I mean? Both characters had distinguishing but interesting stories. You know what I'm saying? But the most part was because in the set and the 2, believe me or not, the 2 is because of the birds of the knowledge. Because I gained a little knowledge on the birds. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that it was really that in depth of knowing, the type of temperament, the type of attitudes, up to the wing colors and things like that.
Crack vials.
That was pretty right. That was pretty cool to learn. You know what I'm saying? The 0.7 part was just, the actual interactions between, Keith and Choo. You know what I'm saying? Choo my favorite character of the whole documentary because he had the nonchalant inquisitive but nonchalant kind of guy, attitude. You know what I mean? In in
I'm not gonna
aspect.
sell my family attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Okay.
In reality, in the way I saw it, it was like morally and realistically, Choo Choo had his life together.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Choo was more of the guy that had his shit together than Keith. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Keith
He
had,
was
yeah,
he was the
knowledge and
vet,
the pigeon
right?
guy,
Yeah, he's the
but
vet.
his
Yeah,
life was in shambles. So I could have had it. I could have even would have appreciated if, like, even though Keith was more of the OG, because age, sometimes, because you can see True respected this man
Oh
because of his
yeah.
knowledge of birds. You know what I'm saying? The way he addressed them and things like that. I think that was genuine. I don't think they was just doing that for the tea. I think that was real genuine from him. You know what I mean? So I believe that in that aspect, that kind of hindered even him even trying to suggest any type of good advice in that aspect for him to better his life in any aspect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but that's what I see. I just seen the more hood nigga had his life together than the actual nigga was more knowledgeable
right.
in the
And
fucking bird.
possibly older because he kind of looked a little older than him. Possibly.
No, I think Keith was older to me.
Yeah, I
That's what I'm
think Keith
I
saying.
was
think
older.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He was possibly
Oh,
older than him.
in relative, yeah.
Right,
Correct,
right.
correct,
He was
correct,
possibly older than him,
correct,
and he had his
correct,
shit together
correct.
more than a cat older than him. Type of
Correct,
deal.
Right.
correct. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 2.7 can that pass? You know what I mean? But I did enjoy it because the birds, the bird aspect of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I did acknowledge
it's
that. You know what I'm saying?
informational things happening.
Yeah, I
So
thought it
Yeah,
was a cool introduction to. I always knew that people had pigeons. I remember always, like I said before, hearing Mike Tyson talk about it, and
yep.
always just knowing that and seeing those coops and just in different things, of course, in different movies, shit like that. But I had no clue about the actual World Cup competition, so that was kind of a cool introduction to that. But
Right.
like I said,
Hopefully we'll get a better doc on it.
it steered into the sadness a little bit too much.
Right. We
for
might
me.
have to rehatch like the whole. There might be another doc out there for fucking. You know what I mean?
right.
Pigeon flying cup. You know what I mean? We got to just
Yeah.
look into it. But that's
But
dope.
that
Yeah.
brings us to the next joint. You know what I'm saying?
It's on you. It's on you this week. What we got? You
Yeah.
better not take me to the White House, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, let's check this out, right?
Good,
You guys might gag on me and this and that, but all I gotta say is this guy right here, he started a fucking phenomenon. He started a fucking hysteria. He started fucking having people closing their doors and closing their windows and having them peeking out their blinds. And who I'm talking about, folks? I'm talking about Wrinkles, the motherfucking clown. And that's the actual name of
Rinky.
the documentary. Or the
Okay.
documentary, yo.
What's it
You know
called?
what I'm
Wrinkles?
saying? Wrinkles, the clown.
Ooh,
Little documentary about this guy. You know what I'm
serial
saying?
killer type shit.
I don't remember if you guys remember about the time where there was a phenomenon about clowns just showing up and popping in the shadows everywhere.
Yeah.
Remember
Or is
that?
this the
Remember
one
that?
where the guy was
Remember that?
burying him in the
Remember
basement
that?
and shit? Or they
Remember that?
found bodies in the basement?
No. This is just the guy that was just a clown
I know a
that
story of
started
one.
that started a phenomenon of having everybody being creeped the fuck and freaked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? And just being creepy. You know what I mean? What happened?
Yeah, that looks crazy. Wow.
I don't hear you raps.
He's on mute.
I was chewing. That's right. Yeah.
My bad.
Wrinkles, nigga, wrinkles. I'm with it.
That looks fucking nuts.
Wrinkles. Let's see how many clown references. What year would it happen? I don't even know. They're
That's
saying
probably a few years back.
description. It might be more recent. 2000.
It is. I believe it's probably
Early
like maybe
2000s?
14, 13, yeah, 14,
I was
15.
thinking more of the one that the guy who inspired the whole it a little bit. I think it was the guy in Chicago with the clown makeup on. Remember that? The big guy, and he ended up like he was a serial killer, actually killing like kids and shit and putting them
Oh
in.
shit! I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, it is. I forgot the clown. He was like if you've seen the image of him, like oh okay. He's right up there with the 6 stories of the real leather face, and this clown guy.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Behind it, so yeah, that's okay.
In Chicago?
I think it's somewhere in Chicago, somewhere Illinois, in that Midwest somewhere.
All right.
Somewhere about.
Yeah, Yeah, I remember the phenomenon though, like 3 years ago when there was just a ton of those videos popping up though about like people would be dressed as clowns and just weird.
Yeah.
Like, even in one of the reaction videos that we did, Raps. Remember there was one of the fucking clown people chasing people out of the woods and shit. It's fucking, it's creepy.
Yeah.
But for that dude, like Keith needs to listen up. For that dude to turn that into a business, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what it looked like. Come on, Keith.
Get out there with your birds, cuz, and get right in life, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, so till
That
next
looks
week, my
nuts.
people, we're gonna get it right, man. And it's gonna be wrinkles.